Today, we will be doing the Glock 17 trigger kit with the Ghost 3.5 trigger and the Wolf spring. Alright, so first of all, safety check. Barrel clear, nothing in there.
Clear.
No mags, clear. Alright, so to do the disassembly on the Glock, basic field strip. Okay. Let's do this. This is for one of my friends, Christian Fernando. He asked me to show him like I'm Chris Brown or something. Alright, so we'll take this out. Then we'll take out our barrel. And then we'll move in to this guy. How close you are on that? Too close?
Pretty close.
Alright, so you need to
decompress. Kind of hard to see there.
Wrong guy. Press this guy. Slide this guy out. Back plate off. Now we can take this out. So these are the
stock
Glock
parts.
OEM springs. And let me get the extractor. The extractor don't need tools. You can just drop it there. And we'll be changing the springs on that as well. Okay, so let's take these out. So these are the basic springs that come with the factory. And they give you like a 5.5 pound trigger pull. And these are just for the over travel of the trigger and everything. And this is the main guy that we're gonna change. That'll make the hell of a difference.
So what was the pounds when you pulled the trigger?
Well, without the trigger measure thing, the factory states that it's 5 pounds. It could be more.
So if you were to add on that part, how many pounds would it make?
This says 3.5.
Does it make a big of a difference?
On accuracy, your trigger pull is everything, but some people get away with training with original trigger pulls, so the weight doesn't matter. It's just personal preference. And let's do this one. Okay, so let's do the springs first. I know these have cups. There it is. So we'll take this out. Those are the old springs. And this is for that guy. So let me take out the springs for those that we're replacing.
Before you install them, why don't we measure them or see the differences?
Okay. Alright. Let me do a side-by-side comparison. Alright, so this is the original spring. And this is the aftermarket spring.
So the chrome looking one is the OE spec.
Yeah, that's the OE spec. This is the aftermarket Wolf springs.
Oh, okay.
So we'll be replacing that. Get that out of the way. And this is the hard part for the Glock, is putting, you always want the fat spring side on that one end. The hardest part about this is putting the cups together. These locking things. And this might take me time. So that has to be in. And there. That's the hard part. And then, so this is the older spring. About the same size. I think the only thing that changes is the spring, right?
The one on the left looks skinnier.
Yeah. So this will go here. And now we can put the slide part back together. Alright, so we'll do the extractor first. Make sure this spring is nice and subtle. Okay, put that in there.
And that just sits tight.
Yeah. It's the extractor, so it's gonna be wobbling a little bit. And then you want to get this guy. Pretty much just go in reverse the way you got everything out. These just sit straight here. Okay, so it looks like we're done with the slide changing springs. This is probably not the fastest way to do them. Well, it's not about speed, so we're gonna depress this. Want to push the slide forward, and that's the slide. So the slide springs are good to go.
And one more step, right?
Yeah, the hard part.
The ghost trigger. 3.5 trigger.
So we're gonna do this. And these are what we're gonna change out. Pretty much it'd be a lot easier to remove everything, which I like to do. So I like to take out the back first, one that holds the trigger frame for that end, and then some people do it differently on this. I like to do the top first. For me, I can do it either way because I know what spring's supposed to be under the rails or whichever. And then I'd like to go with this next. And this sucker just comes out like this. And that's your standard OEM slide release. So when you get those pins out of the way, just make sure you line them up so you remember what you're doing. And then you gotta get this block out. So you just slide that out, and this will come right off. And then when you got that blocking block off, you can get the whole trigger system out. If I've done it right, it should just come right off. And this is the whole block trigger system. So to get these off, it's pretty much just a lot of contortioning on that end. You just like to twist this a little bit, and you can get this off. And this is pretty much what you're changing off. This is the factory trigger connector, yeah. And just do a little pry off, and then use your fingernail so you don't damage. I don't know if you can see that. So that's that part. So the thing that changes with this is it has a little notch, like an angle. If you can see it, one is flat and one is like angled a few degrees. That's what changes. So this is what we're gonna change this out with. But before we do that, one more step, we're gonna change out this spring as well with this guy. So if you see the difference, this is gonna be a little shorter, so that the over travel will be shorter. And here, this is the hard part. So I need to try that off a little. Okay, that's off. And I fell. Man. Alright, so this being off, you're pretty much, if you want to compare it, you're going to see that slight difference on it. You can see the one on the right is a little shorter, which is going to make that over travel on the trigger a little different. So let's get that on. Where are we at? Okay. So putting it on is pretty much easier. It takes a lot of practice to do this. There you go. There you go. So that's on that one part. I'm just gonna get it onto this guy. And we gotta put the new 3.5 guy right there. Let that sit. We have this guy together. Now, put the whole trigger assembly back together on the frame. So we just drop this back in. Like so. And then I like to put the top pin first, which is this one. Alright, you know what? Hello, locking block. Come on, Benrado. That's in. And then the pin. And then this part, slide release. I like to put it in that slot right there. And then as I'm pushing along, I can play with it so I can lock this sucker in. Alright, so let me try it through the other side. And it's in. So we got that in. Now I gotta lock the back part of it. And then we can assemble the top slide. Okay, this is the easy part. Okay, so that's in. And we can assemble everything back together. Now we have a much lighter. And then check the reset. And that's how you change out your springs and your Gold's 3.5 pound connector. And you